Winners win. I'm a winner. We're going to win.
Gators Breakdown, because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
The Gators Breakdown podcast is ready to go. I'm your host, David Waters. You can find me on social media at GatorDave_GB, and it's a special episode of Gators Breakdown. We're sitting down with the head man himself, head coach Jon Sumrall, for a wide-ranging conversation about his journey to Gainesville, what he's building early here at Florida, what it takes to bring championship football back to the swamp. We go back, from his instant success at Troy and Tulane to his unapologetic approach to coaching at the highest level here at Florida. Coach Sumrall isn't holding back. So we're talking roster evaluations, NIL realities, rivalry games, and what it means to embrace the orange and blue. So before we get there, definitely want to shout out you guys out there, the Gators Breakdown audience out there in Gator Nation. And, this does not happen without your continued support. I just want to talk Gators football. Now, and never in my wildest dreams did I ever think it would put me in a place to have the conversation with the head football coach of the university. So thank you, Gator Nation. This isn't possible without you. I'm honored to bring you this incredible conversation with Coach Sumrall. Hope you guys enjoy it. And if you want to support, of course, hit that like button. Subscribe right here to Gators Breakdown on your favorite podcast platform, right here on YouTube. But of course, that like button, if you're watching on the YouTube version, goes a long way. Helps us out. Leave some comments right there as well, what you think of this interview with head coach Jon Sumrall. You can also, of course, join Gators Breakdown Plus. If you're a Gators Breakdown Plus member, you got this episode early. It was an early access. That's part of the benefit of being a Gators Breakdown Plus member. GatorsBreakdownPlus.com is where you can join. You get extra episodes. You get ad-free episodes. Access to the Discord, of course, where we have the chats and the lively, ever-living conversation that goes on in the Discord, newsletters, all that starting at $3 a month. But like I said, ad-free episodes, early access to episodes like this when they happen, special episodes, of course, right there at Gators Breakdown Plus. One more time, join at GatorsBreakdownPlus.com. And if you want to support even more, a lot of new merch, a lot of new Gators Breakdown merch, GatorsBreakdown.printful.me, or you go to GatorsBreakdown.com, click on the merch section. Or if you follow me on social media, you've seen a lot of this stuff. But there you go. You can support Gators Breakdown just like that as well. Get you some, the Move Back You Suck shirt sold very well, selling very well. A lot of the new designs selling there well as, at the same time. So certainly like everybody out there and purchasing the Gators Breakdown merch and seeing you in it all and everybody sharing when they get it. Big thank you. Big thank you one more time there. So, all right, everybody, settle in. This is Gators head football coach Jon Sumrall on Gators Breakdown. Head football coach of the Florida Gators, Jon Sumrall, right here on Gators Breakdown. Coach, a big thank you for joining me here, embracing Gator Nation in this fashion. I know you're busy, so it means a lot to carve out some time for us right here in Gator Nation on Gators Breakdown.
I appreciate you having me on, man. Enjoy connecting. Yeah,
for sure. So let's get straight to it. Year one for you here at Florida, and obviously the game of football has changed in recent years, but you had instant success at Troy, instant success at Tulane. What do you attribute to that, and how repeatable is that here at Florida for the instant success?
Well, instant success, really, any type of success, it's all about the players, right? And so for me, being able to draw on two past experiences, when I walked into Troy University, the previous three records were 5-7, 5-6, and 5-7. There was really a lot of good things there within the building on the roster, player wise. Like I walked in, I was like, man, this team's not completely broken. There was a lot of things that maybe needed some attention or recalibration, and just kind of a little different perspective, if you will. And maybe some confidence needed to be created because they had lost a lot of close games there. And there's certain things that you have to do throughout the offseason program to get guys to believe that, like, when things get hard, we're going to find a way to swim the dark, deep water and tread water longer than our opponent. And so there's some things we're doing right now to try to create that type of confidence in this program. I do think there's a lot of positive things here in regards to what our roster looked like in certain areas. There's some question marks. It's not necessarily whole per se, but we've got some things to build around. You know, then I went to Tulane, very different, long drought of success at Tulane, and then I followed Coach Fritz, who had some success at the end of his time there that was unprecedented, to be quite honest with you. And so that was probably more challenging to me because you're coming in and bringing a totally different type of perspective, maybe of how I do things and how we run a program, and asking them to embrace some things that were very unique and different, but yet they'd already had success. So it's like, hey, we've been winning without doing some of this crazy stuff you're asking us to do, like, because we do challenge the guys. You know, we want to make sure that February, the match drills, those sort of things, man, it's got to be challenging. And I got a lot of hope for where we can go here. We got a lot of work to do. You know, I'm never gonna put a tangible number of wins I think we can have. You know, when I took the first year at Troy, I told my athletics director, I said, man, I think we can be, you know, win enough games to get to a bowl game, right? And they had been 5-7 the year before. I said, now I don't think we're going to win like 10 or 11 games. Well, we won 12, so it kind of worked out. But I didn't foresee that coming. Look, I'm not going to label what we can and can't do yet. All I know is we got to compete every day to get better, and we're going to try to win every game we play. And give it everything we have, and not back down to what the expectation and standards look like here at Florida.
Well, obviously you had your opening press conference, and then you just had a recent press conference, and you even admitted, you know, you still haven't really got a full handle on the team yet, but you've had some time now to go back and review this team a bit more, whether it's the players or whether it's the approach. You know, many feel that, you know, there's still some good talent on this roster, is some good talent on this roster. What did you come away with that you like, and what needs to change?
Yeah. You know, there's very direct areas where things have been going right here. I think our academics have been really well done here. I even kid around with the team. We had a 3.6 GPA, I think, in the fall. I said I'd be okay with a touch lower GPA and more wins. Like, but you know, school matters. But let's win some games too.
Let's go.
The Gator Made program here has been really good. The type of young man that has been recruited into this building, I think has been, you know, done the right way. I think the previous staff did evaluate character and take that into the evaluation process of making sure we're bringing in good people. The training room, I think Paul Silvestri does a great job. Like, there's a lot of positive things that we're already going here. Jake Sankel in nutrition, man, we're very blessed to have him. There were some things I felt like we needed to change. I felt like maybe how we approach coaching the game from the staff perspective, and how we were put together as a staff needed to look a little different. And then I felt like the weight room needed a little bit of attention, and how we're going to do things down there. Those are probably the most critical areas. I felt we need to have significant sweeping change. But roster wise, top end players, there's some known guys. You look at Jaden Ball and, you know, Jaden Woods and Dallas Wilson and VB3 and Miles Graham. There's some guys on this football team that are proven, known SEC players, I think, that are top-end players. There's a lot of question marks. You know, we've got a lot of holes in the O-line to replace. We got a lot of youth on the D-line that I like. I don't know if we have the depth that we need to be really as good as I want to be yet. Like, that's a question mark for me right now. The secondary, very unproven.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some things here that are known commodities, and there's some things here that I think are maybe not as known that have a chance to be really good. And then there's some big question marks. So I'm like, I don't know where we're at. You know, I don't really know. And we're going to find out through spring practice. We're going to find out through the gauntlet, which is the mat drills we're doing right now. We're going to find out everything we can find out before we get to game one, because I want to see if a guy's going to quit or if he's going to tap out or not compete the right way right now, not when the season comes.
For sure. Coach, in your previous press conference, you did turn some heads when discussing the roster and the kind of candid admission about the salary cap and maybe preventing acquiring of certain portal players. Now, some out there took that Florida doesn't have the funds, Florida's poor, don't want to compete at the highest level in the NIL game. I'm pretty sure that isn't the case, but what is the realization of the NIL approach and how the resources are needed to compete at the highest level?
Yeah, look, I'm very grateful for what we have. Okay. Like you mentioned my previous stops at Troy, the collective was started when I was there. And, we weren't really distributing a whole lot of funds. I kid around. We used to pay our players in Chick-fil-A sandwiches and CPAP machines. Like that was our NIL. And I love the people that made that possible. Or I wouldn't be where I'm at today because we would not have been able to have the success we had. At Tulane, we were fortunate with a little bit better resourcing on the financial side there. This is the best financial situation I've had as a head coach. Okay. So I'm really man, this is great. This is awesome. At the same time, every coach probably always wants more. Right. And so I think nobody's ever satisfied. You show me anybody that's really comfortable or casual or complacent with what they have or what is going on. And that person's going to get beat. That person's going to get passed up. And so I want to push the envelope to figure out how do we grow this to make it a well-oiled machine that's the best in our conference and the most highly effective. I do think there's a lot of great work that's been done here on campus and off. I think Florida Victorious, so many people have stepped up and given our program an opportunity to be successful. But I also think that doesn't mean we're done. Okay. And no matter how good of a job you do in the NIL rev share landscape, you're always going to wish you had more. Like nobody's like, got their feet kicked up going, man, I just got everything I ever want or need. But I'm very grateful and pleased with what we have. I'm grateful for our administration. Like I said, Florida Victorious, everybody that's been involved. I do think we could be active in recruiting more people to like, hey, let's lock arms and do this together. Like if you care about Florida football, man, let's do this together. I said this in my press conference. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Like it takes everybody doing whatever they can. You know what I mean? And so I do feel like we're in a good position. Are we in the best position in the country? No, I don't think we are. Are we in the worst position in the country? No, I don't think we are. Are we somewhere in the middle? Yeah. Where are we right in the middle? I don't know exactly because there's a little bit of ambiguity to what's out there. But I know enough to know that we're not leading the country. I know enough to know that we're not last in the country. Would I like to be first in the country? Hell yeah. I'd like to be first in the country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And shout out to Gators Breakdown Plus members, Coach, because we raised about $5,000 earlier this month and we donated it all to Florida Victorious. And
let's go. Come on, man. I love it. That's awesome.
Coach, on that, how's the ride been from the, I guess, fan base perception side since you got here? Of course, not to hide behind the storyline, and you didn't either in your opening press conference. Lane Kiffin was the hot name. And then there's the narrative, of course, of coming from AAC, coming from Sunbelt. Now, after a couple of months, you had the opening press conference. You kept the recruiting class together, staff hires, retaining major players, transfer portal, seeing you fired up at basketball games. So there seems to be a better feeling around Gator Nation as time has gone by. Ultimately, it'd come down to wins and losses. But what are your thoughts on not being the first choice or having to prove to the fan base that this isn't just a repeat of the previous regime? And there is a lot to prove to the fan base in due time.
Yeah, look, first and foremost, the most pressure anybody's going to put on me is myself. Nobody wants to win more than I want to win. I can promise you that. There's nobody on the public or social media or whatever that's going to drive me to work harder because I already work ridiculously hard. And so I'm grateful to be here. Look, in this process, I had other opportunities that were interested in me being their head football coach as well. When Florida chose me, I chose it back. I wanted to be here. This is where me and my wife, we sat down, we prayed about it, we talked about it, we reflected on all of it. We sort of evaluated everything that was available to us. And this kind of rose to the top and for a lot of reasons. But, man, the interactions I've had have been awesome with people. We got to win some football games. Right now we hadn't lost, so everybody's great and happy and whatever. We might lose a game here. We might lose one, right? But I don't want to lose many. And I'm not going to be okay with us losing. Losing is not okay. And so I've enjoyed every part of this so far. There's going to be adversity hit. We're making adversity hit right now at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Again, our next mat drill. There's adversity every day around here. We're going to create it. But this is an awesome place. The people have been amazing. It's been so cool to be able to go to basketball games and interact with Todd and see how he's done what he's done. Really, all our sport coaches across the board, man, we've got such an unbelievable collection of coaches here at the University of Florida. Just interacting with all of them has been really neat, and look forward to doing so with more of them. But the basketball games have been a blast. Really, in particular, the Alabama one, that was fun. But we're having fun, man. We're putting a lot of work to make sure we ensure success for the future, short term and long term.
Coach, obviously you're taking a jump up, Troy, Tulane, now Florida, in the SEC. As you learn, I guess, about this job, is there a fine line between being yourself, sticking with what got you here, but also this being new and the adaptation you may have to have, or, having to change for a bigger job? What's the fine line? I mean, I know you'll define that as time goes on, but short time on the job, obviously I think you stick with what got you here, but what's the threshold for changing and adaptation?
Yeah, I'm not changing, number one. Like, I'll say that. Like, no job will ever change me. Like, I don't care. I don't care if I'm the head coach of Florida or an NFL job or Troy or Tulane or my high school. I ain't changing. All right. So if somebody wants me to change, they hired the wrong guy. Like, I'm not doing it. All right. I'm unapologetically myself. Okay. I believe what we've done works. We've got to prove it at this level. I'm aware of that. The biggest changes are, I kid around with our staff yesterday in our staff meeting. When I took the Troy job, there was like 18 people in the room and everybody was direct report was me. Then I went to Tulane. There's like 35 people in the room and everybody's direct report, I still kind of felt like was me, even though I maybe had to delegate a little bit more. And then here I walked in here, I'm like, okay, there's a million people in this building. Like, what is going on? Like, we're trying to score touchdowns and tackle the guy with the ball. Like, what do all these people do? And so there's a lot of great people here, but creating, I think, organizational synergy and alignment has probably been one of the tasks I've been most focused on, because that's probably the most unique difference here. And then building a roster here looks different because we do have different resources, but the price of doing business at this level is higher. The cost is higher. And so a good player at this level, what their capacity of maybe getting financially is, it does look different. And that goes back to our conversation on why I think we have to continue to push the envelope. Championship teams that want to win at the highest level, you have to have championship resourcing. That's something that I think we're continuing to push towards. But I will not change. Do we have to adapt maybe and change some things we do at this level? Yeah, I think I've shown that with how I put the staff together. I didn't just ask everybody at my Tulane staff, hey, pick up and move here. Some guys were able to come. Some guys, it was best for them in Tulane and Florida and everybody involved for them to stay at Tulane. And I love all those guys. Like, I care about them deeply. Some of them are like brothers to me. And so I do what's best for the University of Florida. That's my job. That's what I will always do, and what's best for our players.
Coach, one of the biggest topics that's come up, and we haven't heard you talk about it yet, Gator Nation just wants to hear it, your opinion on rivalries. And the question I get, how is Coach Sumrall going to treat rivalry games? Now, I hope I don't hear some coach speak here, but I understand if that's your approach. But here's the fan base that hates Georgia, hates Florida State, hates Tennessee, hates LSU. They want the coach to express that too. So are rivalry games just another game, or do you put more emphasis on it?
Yeah, they matter. I mean, rivalries make college football great. And yeah, how you prepare for the game in regards to putting a game plan together is the same. But man, you have to respect and embrace and fully engage with those games. Hit different for everybody involved. They do. I've been a part of them. Man, when you play a rival, it is the game that goes on between the white lines and how you game plan for the game. It's the same method, but man, there are certain games that they do feel different because of the history and the tradition and the fan base, maybe hatred of each other. And so, look, we're going to embrace every part of rivalries. Like, I love it. It's what makes college football great. We're very aware of our positioning right now in some of those games, and we've got, we've been on the right side of some of them we hadn't been, and we got to work tirelessly to close that gap and get to where we're making some of those games the way we want them to look. And so I think rivalries in college football are a part of what makes college football great. And we will fully embrace every part of playing a rival. I can promise you that.
Well, Coach, being here in Jacksonville, it is kind of sad for me. You don't get to experience Florida, Georgia for the first couple of years in Jacksonville here, but you got Atlanta, got Tampa. You'll certainly be involved in it, but I can't wait for a couple of years when you get to see that.
Yeah, I've always watched it, seen it from afar. It's always been really a cool, I think, college football tradition, and obviously won't be in Jacksonville, like you said, the next couple of years, but a huge rivalry game with them, and we've got to start making it more competitive on our side.
For sure, for sure. Coach, the last couple of thoughts here. Offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner, of course, mentioned he wants an explosive offense, and Florida has recruited that way, and one with a certain style of athlete in the past, one built on speed, leads to explosive plays. I know you said in the recent press conference that it's about adapting to the personnel that you have, but do you envision that type of athlete that you can recruit in this home state lends itself to a more open offense year by year by year?
Yeah, I think you recruit to what you have the ability to recruit to, and I think in the state we can get speed and skill within our state. We don't have to go very far to find talented, skill athletes that have top end speed. So that's something that I think is kind of right in front of us. You look at your roster every year and you build around who your personnel is, and I'll make the both sides of the ball right up who's the top 11 and then who's the next 5 or 6. Well, I want to see those guys play, and those are going to be the guys that give us the best chance of winning. You build around who your people are, though. So, like, while you may love a certain style, I think bad coaches try to make players fit their style. Good coaches try to make their systems adaptable and evolve to who the personnel is year to year. And you've got to be able to do that because you never know what injuries are going to look like or availability on certain players. When a guy may end up declaring earlier than you anticipated for the draft, or if a guy transfers in or out, like there's so many moving parts. As a coach, you have to be able to retool and make things fit who your people are. I do think we can get playmakers on the perimeter. I do think we can get a really good running backs here, and that does lend itself to maybe playing a unique brand of football that can be exciting to watch. You have to protect the football. All right, and you have to create explosive plays, and you got to be able to run the football on offense. Like the biggest misnomer is you want to get in all this open sets and just throw it every play. You can throw to score, but you got to run to win football games at some point. There's no hiding from that in this league. That doesn't mean we're going to be an option team either. I can promise you that. We're not running triple option, but you may see some elements of it if it helps us. Like there's nothing that we won't be able to touch offensively if it fits how we can win a game.
Last thought, Coach, here. Brad White, defensive coordinator on that side of the ball. You guys have worked together, but you're a defensive-minded coach too. So I'm interested, how much your fingerprint will be on the defense? Will you mold something together with Brad White that is a little bit of a hybrid of what you guys have shown, or still lean more into what he's shown at Kentucky in recent years?
Yeah, Brad and I have been in really great conversation the whole time about what it's going to look like. Brad's going to run the defense. I'm going to definitely sit in plenty of those meetings and have my perspective on how we're doing things. I will do that in all 3 phases of the game plan. Brad will call the defense, Buster will call the offense, and Jonathan Galante will call our special teams plays. I will be involved in all of it. I'm not a head coach that just sits in my office and doesn't talk to anybody about all 3 phases. I want to be dialed into every part of our game plan and make sure that I'm able to provide support, feedback, and help where I can so that we can be our best. Brad has done a great job over the years at the University of Kentucky. Brad and I have a great history and relationship together. A lot of respect for Brad. Brad and I had a great conversation this morning about some defensive structural stuff that we're going to look at. So there's a lot of positive things about our history, because we can quickly get on the same page without having to be in the same room for terribly long. But I will be fully invested in helping support Brad, Buster, Galante, all of them. But they will all call their phase, and I will support them every way I can to make sure that we're seeing things from a holistic perspective of how we need to win the game.
Awesome to hear. Awesome to hear. Coach, one more time. I can't thank you enough carving out some time. I know you're a busy man right here with first-year head coach Jon Sumrall right here on Gators Breakdown. Coach, one more time, thank you so much.
Thank you, David. I appreciate you, man. Go Gators.
Go Gators.